Let's keep it going then. So before we can write it in two different equations, we need to get the absolute value isolated. So Charlie, what would be my first step here, bud?
You want to make two equations, so you do...
No, before I do that, what do I need to do? Need help, Mr. Yoder? Divide both sides by that -2. So now I have the absolute value of x plus 3 is equal to -3. Jacob?
No solution.
Good. As soon as you see it, once you have the absolute value isolated, we already established absolute value is the distance from 0. Can I ever have a distance that's negative? So as soon as we have the absolute value equal to a negative number, we're just going to say, and I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this. That means an empty solution, which is there are no solutions. I'm okay. Everybody okay with that? Questions? All right? Yes?
Can we just write out no solution?
Yes, you can. Yeah, so if I went back to that, I could also write no solution. All right. So do I have an absolute value isolated? Yes or no, guys? Yes. So now we're going to write it in two equations. We're going to write 2w minus 3 equal to 3w minus 2. But we're also going to write 2w minus 3 equals what? Go ahead, Jessica. That's right. You have to take that negative all the way through. So it would be -3w plus 2. Everybody comfortable with that? All right, so then we're going to solve for w. Let's see over here. I'm going to get w equals, what's that, -1? And over here on the right, when I solve for w, I'm going to get 5w equals 5. I'm going to divide by 5. W equals 1. Let's just make sure. Here we go. Plug in -1. 2 times -1 is -2 minus 3 is -5. What's the absolute value of -5? All right, check it over here. -3 minus 2. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did I mess up? Did we mess up? Let's see. Maybe I messed up. Boom, boom. Let's plug it in again. -2 minus 3 is -5. What's the absolute value of -5? 5. Over here I get what? This is an extraneous solution. This one doesn't work. Let's check this other one. 2 minus 3 is -1. Absolute value of -1 is 1. 3 minus 2 is 1. Our only solution is w equals 1. So it's a set of just 1. So maybe we need to make a note now. You need to check your answers. Even though, look up here on the screen, even though algebraically we did everything correctly, that doesn't guarantee us two solutions. Y'all follow me on that? We got to check for the extraneous solutions. Our answer is just 1. Are we good? Have you guys done that in the past? Yes? No? I'm getting both answers, and I believe every one of you. Okay? Again, the absolute value is not isolated, so first let's add 8. So I have the absolute value of 2x plus 3 over 5 is equal to what? 2x plus 1. And then I'm going to do what? Anthony, what am I going to do next? Multiply both sides by 5. Boom. Boom. So now I have the absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to 10x plus 5. Agree? And now we're going to write it as two separate equations. Okay? We're going to say 2x plus 3 is equal to the positive 10x plus 5. But we're also going to say 2x plus 3 is equal to, distribute the negative through, and that would give me negative 10x minus 5. We good? All right, so we're going to solve for x. And I'm okay if you do multiple steps in your head here. 8x, subtract 5, be negative what? 2. X equals, what's that? Negative 1/4. Okay. Over here on the right, I'm going to add 10x. That would give me 12x. Subtract 3 would be negative 8. Divide by 12 would be negative 2/3. You just want to go ahead and circle both of them? I mean, we could take a chance. But I'm going to check them. And I'm going to check them by going back to the beginning. Okay? You got a calculator, probably make life a little bit easier for us on this one. So here we go. Let's plug in negative 1/4. 2 times negative 1/4 is negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 plus 3 is 2.5. Absolute value of 2.5 is 2.5 divided by 5 minus 8. Hit enter. What's that give me on the left-hand side? Anybody do that in their head? Say it louder.
Negative 7.5.
Negative 7.5. Do we all agree? Okay, here we go. Put that negative 1/4 in over here. 2 times negative 1/4 is negative 1/2. Minus 7 is negative 7.5. So we're good here with the negative 1/4. Yes? Okay, let's go ahead and circle that one for the time being. I know this one's good. Okay, everybody on their own, let's check negative 2/3. Go. So they both work. So yeah, those graphing calculators don't do fractions for you because you can just go this divided by that, that's your number. At the end, if you go in your graphing calculators and you click math, everybody do this right now on your calculators. Ready? Take 2 divided by 3. You come here, you'll learn all kinds of wisdom. Okay, here we go. Objective number 2. Solving equations with 2 absolute values. Guys, what we're going to do is we're just going to pick one of the sides and distribute the negative through. So, if I have the absolute value of this equals the absolute value of that, we are going to now drop it and say, we're going to write 2 equations. We're going to say 2x plus 7 is equal to x minus 4. Everybody okay with that? And we're going to say 2x plus 7 is equal to, now distribute a negative through. So negative x plus 4. And I've had students ask me before, Mr. Dice, does it matter which side I distribute the negative through? And the answer I always say is no. I'm going to be consistent and I'm always going to go to the right. Okay, so we're going to solve for x here on the left. I'm going to subtract x and that gives me x. I'm going to subtract 7 gives me negative 11. Over here on the right, I'm going to add x, 3x, subtract 7, negative 3, x equals negative 1. And we're going to check. Okay, I shouldn't even, I apologize right now. I shouldn't have circled this. We probably should check first, shouldn't we? Okay, here we go. Freshmen, you check negative 11. 8th graders and sophomores, you check negative 1. Go. You don't probably need a calculator for this one, guys. Okay, 8th grade posse, what are we saying about negative 1? Yes. Sophomores, freshmen, what are we saying about negative 11? Yes. So when we write it as an interval notation, it's the set of the numbers. Let's go from left to right. Negative 11, negative 1. And what I mean by left to right is on a number line, left to right. We doing okay? Here we go. Objective number 3, we're going to solve inequalities of the form absolute value less than. Okay, here we go. When it's an absolute value less than, we need to recognize that this is an and compound inequality. Okay, now I'm going to bounce ahead real quick. Objective number Excuse me. I'm going to add. We're coming back. Objective number 4 is going to recognize an absolute value greater than is a compound inequality of the essence or. I always tell students this. Listen to me, please. Less than and greater or. Less than and greater or. Can you remember that? We'll see. Okay, first of all, isolate your absolute value. So what are we going to do? We're going to add 5, divide by 2. So I have the absolute value of 4x plus 1, which is less than or equal to, let's see, 6 divided by 2, 3. Okay, up on the screen. Absolute value less than and. No, we're going to all do it together. I'm sorry, I wasn't very clear. I'm going to go less than, and you're all going to go and. Okay, ready? Absolute value less than and. Okay, so how do I write that? This is great. You guys are going to love this because you're going to drop it. And you're going to go 4x plus 1 less than or equal to 3 and 4x plus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 3. You can write it as a compound and right now. Don't write it as two separate ones unless you like extra work. Erase it. I'm changing your world right now. Okay, now look, we're going to solve. We're going to subtract 1. So it's what? Negative 4 less than 4x less than or equal to 2. And then we're going to divide by 4. Negative 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 2 divided by 4 is what? 1/2. Look how pretty that is. Look, I can immediately go to my interval notation from negative 1 inclusively to 1/2 inclusively. Oh, man. You're welcome. Here's negative 1. Here's 0. Here's 1. In between 0 and 1 is 1/2. Bracket. Bracket. Highlighter, or whatever you want to do to show me you understand it goes right there. Thoughts? Questions? There's your first one. Ready? Let's do another one. Divide by 3. So now I have the absolute value of x plus 9 is less than negative 4. Everybody agree? I love it. You already see it, don't you? It's no solution. Okay, hold on. How the heck what's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor, how the heck did you recognize that was no solution?
Because it's a negative.
Yeah.
Absolute value can be negative.
Yeah, what's the smallest number you could ever get for an absolute value? 0. Is 0 less than negative 4? No. So we could say no, so Mr. Dice, I'm not going to catch that. Okay, let's see. Let's write it. X plus 9 less than negative 4 and greater than 4. Let's see what happens. When I subtract 9, I get negative x's. I get x's greater than negative 5 and less than negative 13. Now, this doesn't make sense right now because I have the smaller numbers here on the right. But think about it. If I went to the number line and I graphed that, look up here. This says x less than negative 13, which is parenthesis this way. Agree? Here's negative 5. This says x greater than negative 5, parenthesis going this way. Do I have a number that satisfies that compound and inequality? No. That's why the answer... What's up, man? The answer. I'm going to write it just this time for you. That's so much work. This is so much easier. That's so much easier. Plus, it's pretty. All right. Here we go. Keep it going. All right. So we already talked about the ors. So let's see it. Let's see it. First of all, we got to solve. We got to isolate our absolute value. Yes. All right. So we're going to add 3 and then multiply by what? 2. So I get the absolute value of 2w minus 1 is greater than or equal to, see, add 3, 4 times 2, 8. Everybody agree? All right, you guys are going to, I'm going to say, let's see if you guys can do it. Absolute value greater or. So this is how you do an or. Okay? And I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to say, I'm going to take this one, I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to say 2w minus 1 is greater than or equal to 8. And then I'm going to write or right here. And I'm going to write, what do you guys think? Yeah, Jacob?
2w minus 1
Is less than or equal to negative 8. Flip the sign, change the sign, change the sign. Flip the inequality and change the sign. So here we go. We're going to, now I'm going to solve one and then the other. So here I'm going to solve here. I'm going to add 1. Divide by 2. W is less than or equal to, let's see, negative 7 halves. Or I'm going to add 1, divide by 2. W is greater than or equal to 9 halves, right? Okay, I haven't answered it yet because I want to answer interval notation, but I am going to graph it next. Okay? Here's 0. Over here is negative 7 halves. Which is negative what? 3.5? Yeah? And it's W is less than or equal to, so it's a bracket shaded to the left. Everybody agree with that? Over here, 9 halves is what? 4.5? So I'm going to put 9 halves. It is also a bracket because it's inclusively shaded to the W is greater than would be shaded to the right. Okay? Can you write it for me in interval notation now? Austin, how would I write it? This is what we did last time. We're going to take that and we're going to write it in interval notation. I'll help you get going. Negative infinity. Well, you didn't tell me parenthesis or bracket. So you say inclusively, and then it or is the union symbol. Inclusively, 9 halves to infinity. And I tried to stress it last time, we never put brackets with infinity. Why? Because we never can reach it. You guys feel okay about that? Okay. I got just a couple more examples for you guys. So we're going to isolate the absolute value. We're going to multiply both sides by what? 3. So I have the absolute value of 2x plus 5 is greater than what? Negative 9? Okay. Anybody else want to just call it a day and give me the answer? You've already done it, Taylor. You're like all over this. Taylor's all over this. She's like, I know it. Okay, yeah, Johnson, what do you got for me, dog? What? Yeah? Maybe? I think I could change your mind every time. You're going with no solution? You're saying nothing of an absolute value can be greater than a negative? Oh, you were going to be wrong too, Taylor?
No.
Hey, Swengo, what do you say?
I thought it was nice.
You ding-dongs. That would be if it's less than a negative. Mr. Seth Green.
Yeah.
You got your hand up, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
He's going like this, and I called on him and he went, yeah? What is it?
All real numbers.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Wouldn't anything be greater than a negative with an absolute value? And so, okay, Who would go, I would not catch that? Be honest. Raise your hand. Who would not catch that? Okay. Then do this. Go, well, 2x plus 5 is greater than negative 9. Greater or, oh, you guys were slow on the trigger. Come on. 2x plus 5 is less than positive 9. Let's solve for that. So subtract 5, 4 divided by 2. X is less than 2. Agree? Or, come over here. Subtract 5, negative 14 divided by 2. X is greater than what? Negative 7? Come down here and let's graph it. Here's negative 7. Here's greater. Negative, I forgot to put the negative. Excuse me. Over here's 2. Here's less than. Does that help you? See it? Okay, let's explain what we have going on here. These problems and these just even. This might be our shortest assignment.